In Syria this morning, there are reports of new violence against anti-government protesters in the city of Homs. This after the U.S. shut down its embassy in Damascus. Syria has closed its borders to most Western reporters. But CBS's Clarissa Ward is in Northern Syria, where she's met with rebel forces. Good morning.
Good morning, Charlie. Well, we've been staying here with a group who call themselves the Syrian Liberation Army. They're keen to emphasize that they are not a part of the Free Syrian Army, and they are not all former soldiers who defected from the actual Syrian army. And while we've been staying with them, it's been very interesting to see just exactly what they're up against. This is a military force, or a rebel force, rather, of men who are carrying Kalashnikovs. They have some grenades, but they are fighting against an army with tanks and with artillery, and the fear is that the Syrian army will start to use their air power soon, and of course they have no match for that sort of power.
What is their battle plan? How do they expect to proceed over the next weeks ahead?
I think they were planning an operation whereby they hope to carve out a sort of free zone in the north of the country, similar to what we saw in Benghazi and Libya. But the problem at the moment is that they're very fearful of launching any serious offensive until they know that there is some kind of underlying support from the international community, some kind of a resolution from the United Nations, because otherwise they're just living in fear that the Syrian army will launch some form of air assault, and with no support from the international community, that would obviously completely decimate them.
As you know, there's a great debate at the United Nations where there was a veto by Russia and China for further action. Are they realistic in expecting that there will be some help from outside?
I can't say whether they're realistic or not. That's for the United Nations to decide, but certainly they are growing that there has been no formal commitment from the international community to give support to the opposition here and to prevent them from being further assaulted by the Syrian army.
Is there a sense that there might be a civil war looming ahead?
There is a great deal of concern here that if Bashar al-Assad's regime was to fall, what would come in its place? As I said before, these rebel forces, they have loose affiliations, but there is no cohesive leadership. They have different interests. They have different religions. And certainly, if you talk to a lot of experts in the region, there are very serious concerns that it could evolve into civil war. We've heard in Homs of shelling coming from Alawite areas into Sunni areas, a very concerning development if that is indeed true.
Clarissa, thanks very much, and as always, be safe.